You know, people have strange belief systems sometimes, many times maybe. We'll take Friday the 13th, for example. There was even a famous song about superstition from Stevie Wonder. Very superstitious, writing on the wall. If you believe in things you don't understand, that you suffer. Superstition ain't the way. If you know that song from the early 70s, it brought attention to the idea that there's all kinds of ways that people have superstitions, or basically their beliefs that something is true. But basically, a belief means it's not a fact. You can believe it's a fact, but it doesn't necessarily have anything provable about it. It's just a belief, which you're entitled to have, you know. But it can go to an extreme sometimes. Like, for instance, walking under a ladder. Some people are superstitious about that, or black cat, crossing the path of a black cat, or 7 years of bad luck, like it says in that superstition song. And like, and Friday the 13th, somehow that's a bad luck day, or the full moon brings certain types of weird qualities, or you can feel jinxed by one thing or another. And then, did you know that there are skyscrapers, buildings that don't have a 13th floor, because the architect or whatever, or the builders, they're superstitious. They don't want a 13th floor. And that's very common, actually. If you go into a skyscraper, a tall building, it's very common to not see a 13th floor. It's all just so very weird to me. And again, it starts with beliefs. And I'm not saying that people can't have beliefs. It's like saying, people can't have faith systems that they feel very strongly about. But I think it does require some critical thinking to really think about, what does this belief consist of? Because it's like an ego. Without a check and balance, the extreme version of it can be pretty extreme and pretty crazy. And I think it does require some critical thinking, at the very least. And sometimes I have to admit, some of this stuff just makes me laugh. Like, really? I just can't take anything like that seriously. Now, when it comes to spirituality, yes, I definitely, I have my journey and my understanding of it. And I've never been an atheist. To me, it doesn't make any sense to be an atheist. It's like saying love your neighbor as yourself doesn't make sense, when it makes perfect sense, But there are some things you do have to question sometimes, I think, just for the sanity of it, and also to learn more. Sometimes when it comes to belief systems, people get stuck. And I always like to start with the conversation, which I will elaborate on more in my spiritual content too. What about this Earth planet? It's one of how many planets that circle this sun in this galaxy, I should say this solar system of this galaxy, in a universe that consists of an infinitude of galaxies without a line of demarcation around it. Because when I say infinitude, that literally means we can't count the number of galaxies in the universe, because the universe is unlimited. That's what infinity means. And anyway, that's some food for thought. And the hopefulness of all of this is understanding that this kind of, consideration of who are we and what is the universe. You could say, what is God? I think it's good to be reminding yourself constantly, being aware of contemplating this, because, not everything is centered on experiences in this earth experience. So, food for thought there, and I hope that gives you a little hope with all the craziness going on in the world today, where a lot of bad decisions are being made based on belief systems and taken to an extreme, when love one another makes perfect sense. And maybe if you have a chance to go out in the countryside where there's no city lights around on a clear night, or go to the beach and sit there and look out at the horizon, listen to all the sounds, take in nature wherever you are in the mountains or on a nature hike, smell some flowers as spring starts happening, you'll see more flowers, all these things, and contemplate what that means. Have a great day, everybody.